The Jenn Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, is an inspirational hour that'll take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jenn Royster is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Imagine having the ability to use your innate positive energy to dissolve the stuckness in your life, whether it's emotional, physical, or spiritual, through this incredible dynamic show. Get ready to be transformed from Dr. Jenn's live guided healing meditations and intuitive readings, and unveil the power of connecting to spirit, the angels, and your higher self. Dr. Jenn is passionate about helping you find the answers you're looking for through an inward journey that'll strengthen your connection to spirit and help you trust your intuition. Now, here's your host, Dr. Jenn Royster.
Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Dr. Jenn, and we've been out a couple of weeks, so what we want to do today is we are going to talk about a lot of energy. Let's put it that way. There's a lot of energy for July. It started yesterday. This is very significant. We had the second of 3 significant supermoons in astrology on July 13. Today's July 14th as we're airing this show. So I'm going to briefly show how this is kind of leading up with what's coming up with the Chiron going retrograde, which will be retrograde until December 23rd. This one makes us go there. This combination of energy is like, okay, this is a pivotal point from what I'm seeing. I've also seen it and experienced it out there. Personally, just observance of what people are going through, what they're sharing. And the supermoon, and it was a Capricorn supermoon, so that's kind of a stern teacher anyway. But with moons, you'll feel them about a week up, leading up to the peak point, which is actually the official time they go full. And then about a week later, it starts to taper off. Any kind of significant energy or influence in astrology, that's how that works. It kind of builds and then it peaks. So it's very strong at the full moon. We're still, the very next day, still pretty strong in that. So that's why I'm bringing it up. This one, we will work with angel insights. Just, you know, I always tap into the angels for any messages I could give you. This is basically a collective energy today that we're going to be sharing. But the Capricorn supermoon from yesterday, if you were feeling a lot of things just coming up, and some things are going to be those pain points or those deep wounds that, why is this coming up? Why is the past reflecting? That's all going to tie in with Chiron being in this energy as well. So this one reminds us, this Capricorn supermoon that we had yesterday, which we are still feeling, reminds us to take responsibility for the direction our lives are taking. Our past is who we are today. I mean, everything we've experienced, positive and not so positive, and the tough spots, the emotional, the pain, all of it is really calculating up to who we are today. However, we don't want to be stuck in the past. This is a big one here. Sometimes we feel like we're going through it, we're reminiscing, but when you're reminiscing, you want to look at how far you've come and what lessons you've learned from it. Not you're stuck there and self-sabotaging yourself, things like that. And sometimes it can be hard to get ourselves out of that cycle. I understand that. And so this moon energy, it wakes us up. This one's waking us up to make necessary adjustments if we need to. What adjustments do we need to do if we are repeating patterns that aren't helping at all, that are actually keeping us back in an old mindset or an old routine that's just not helping? Maybe relationships that need to go different directions. You don't know. I mean, this happens. What are you spending your time on? What are you spending your time on? Is it fulfilling you? That one really just goes, wow. Are you spending time on things that are fulfilling your life, bringing you joy? If there isn't anything in your calendar schedule that's doing that, this is a wake-up call to really address that. Why not? We have to ask ourselves that. We have to take responsibility for the choices we're making in life. Things happen. Things happen to good people. Things happen to all people. And we wait, well, I've been working really hard and I've been doing my best and I still have something happen. That is life, yes. It's how we handle it and adjust and how we let it pull us down. And we are still constantly growing. So this isn't about, oh, I didn't do it right. It isn't about, oh, I feel really down. Everybody gets that way. These are emotions. These are human emotions that we feel. We feel life. And if you're empathic, you feel your life and everybody else's life, and you name it, you feel it. But how are we processing it? That's the key point I want to bring to you right there. How are we processing that energy? If we're still doing it the same way, we're still feeling down like it's always our fault when something doesn't go right. Another one that I see that happens a lot for people is they get, if they're very sensitive, and I've had this happen, you get really super excited about something and you plan and you work really hard and then it doesn't play out the way you planned. And we take that as failure. We take that as we did something wrong. It's all my fault. No, it isn't that at all. It's life. This life and this reality check is, yep, okay. But we can always work with law of attraction. We can always work with our energy. And it's an ongoing life journey thing. So life does have up and downs. We can plan all day long, yesterday and the day before, and then all of a sudden, why didn't it go the way I planned? I've been working so hard on this project. The universe will have perspectives that we can't see sometimes. And we have to be open to, it's a flexibility thing. And trying to control the outcome can set us up for disappointment sometimes. We're learning how to go with the flow a lot more than we're used to. And we've been talking about that for a few years, but it happens. I'm here trying to share some things that could really help you out. Because I'll feel it too. You get discouraged. You get, now I don't know what else, but you'll feel that second guessing and self-doubt. Don't beat yourself up when you feel that. Just stop and go, hey, angels, hey, I need a lift here. I know that I'm feeling a little bit discouraged, but I want to get out of that. And because you have an intention and you want to, you would be so amazed how quickly you can find ways to get out of that. That perfect article will pop up for you, or somebody will just make a comment that just clicks for you, or you'll just find that, okay, I'm going to get busy in something that does bring me joy. It could be as simple as, I don't know, gardening or baking or whatever it is you like to do. It doesn't have to be something that is serving a world purpose and saving the whole world all the time. Because guess what? We're saving the world when we save and we work on us. We're contributing a soul to this world that's got it going on here that can contribute. We're an energy that works together as one. So trying to fix everything out there is not fixing, or it's not about fixing. It's about, we got to be okay with the shadow side of us that might teach us something. Sometimes that's a school of hard knocks. It's uncomfortable and painful. And Chiron energy, which we're going to talk about a little bit more here, that's coming up on the 19th. But the supermoon, this supermoon brought us up into that. It brought us to this place of, oh wow, okay. Am I spending my time on what fulfills me? Where do I need to take responsibility for my choices? You may have made choices in the past that didn't work out. Okay, learn what you need to learn and leave the rest behind. Let it go. If you are repeatedly beating yourself up and you're stuck there, that's what I'm saying. We can't be afraid of the future either. We can't be afraid of making choices. There'll be a lot of choices you make that may or may not work out. But not making a choice at all because you're afraid of how it'll turn out. See, sometimes you got to watch that little bit of, wanting it to be perfect. that will trip you up, and then you won't make any decisions at all. So these are just little tips that can help you with this kind of energy. So angels always support us. I want you to know that. They support you whenever you call on them. You have a guardian angel that is always with you. Always. If you don't know what you need or how to go and you just feel like you're spinning, get your guardian angel in there. Have a powwow with your guardian angel, honestly. You just need to put it out there, and you don't have to say it out loud. You just need to work with that. You just need to go, you know what? Because they support us in good times and the challenging times. They always support. They don't do it for you. They help nudge you and gently guide you so you can find the best choices for you. This energy combination that started with this super moon, being the second significant, we'll have one more again, and there's this trio of 3 supermoons that are pretty strong. This one will probably, if not already, start triggering some spiritual awakening time for you. If you've already been spiritual awakened in, it's probably going to take you to a deeper level. If this is brand new to you, you're going to be like, whoa, I can't read enough. You know, it's just going to change. The perspectives start coming in. Things start to shift. Clarity starts to come in. We remember we were having some confusion with Neptune. So let's look at that. This being a Capricorn moon, and that's the sea goat. Remember the goat that climbs the mountains? There's no mountain high enough, kind of, you might not know that song. And, you know, this one just is like, you can take it as high as you want. You can keep your balance. And that's the big thing with the goat. You can go there, but you want to stay balanced. This is a spiritual metaphor here. So if you're not happy, bottom line, if you're not happy, if you're not feeling fulfilled, if you're not spending any time in your life on what you want to do, this one is waking you up to go, why not? Why aren't you? Don't you feel self-worthy enough to spend some time doing what you like? I mean, this one's really calling us out on it, to take responsibility for those choices. Are we choosing not to put any of that into our daily lives? And I'm like, wow, you know, that's just really just up in front there, just calling it. But it's to motivate us to make the shifts we need for moving forward, because everything is shifting and changing around us so fast. And we see that in the world. We see that. We don't want to be afraid of the world. We want to work with this energy. I mean, 5D is already where Earth resides. Earth is there. All the different dimensions are there when you look at it from a dimensional point of view. Third dimension is the tough one we're very, very familiar with. But 5D is where all those things that just tore us apart aren't. You know, and they coexist. So it's a reality of choosing to be in that mindset or perspective. It's interesting because things that used to upset you or affect you, the world is still going to be out there doing what it does. Okay, that's it. But how's it affecting you? Or you know, how are you responding to it, or how are you not responding? These are the different tidbits of dimensions and perspective and awareness, because to have awareness means the ego's not worried about it so much. The ego's not in the way so much. Spiritual awakening brings you to these perspectives that are deeper in a bigger picture to see, whoa, okay, let me look at this differently. So there's a lot going on here. So when we confront what's not working and we start taking responsibility for some things that have unfolded, it could be challenging. You could find like, oh great, this is great. You may find that you're going to do a complete turnaround or change directions. You may have had this huge plan for this amazing project, or okay, this is what I want to do with my life and this is where I'm going, and now it's not fitting so much. Or it is, and there's a couple of things to tweak. So everybody's going to be different. So just because it says one thing, this isn't concrete here. This is to help you reflect and look back at your own life to see, is there anything I could do better here? Because retrogrades, remember, they reflect. And Capricorn's about reflecting back on Are you taking responsibility here on the choices you're making? If you're not happy, if you don't feel fulfilled, then how come you're not choosing to put it in your life? It's really coming right out in our face, almost like that, to say, you could choose differently. I mean, it hit me too. I'm like, oh, wow, because, we're brought up to like, give. And if you're not giving to yourself as much as you're giving, if it's out of balance, you give, and of course we share and we support one another, but if you're not leaving any of that for yourself, it's not balanced, bottom line. And now that energy's out of whack. So that's what we're talking about here. This energy gives you to this feeling of, this is not working. I just don't care for this. I really need to get in there and do this. It will kind of nudge you and kind of feel like this little itch that, no, I need to look at this. Enough's enough. What's got to go has got to go. And this also is falling in line with Pluto hovering close. Yeah, Pluto's kind of close here, and you know what Pluto is: heavy energy, heavy vibrations of out with the old and with the new, a renewal, a rebirth, all of that good stuff. If it's not working, nope, gone. Clear out what's not working anymore, clear out what's gone, done. So that's there too, so you might be feeling a little bit of that. But this is also a realization. This moon is about what needs to come to an end. Is there something needs to stop? It could be a bad habit. It could be, maybe you're just procrastinating. It could be something simple. It's not major. Sometimes it's relationships, and sometimes it's just, I got to stop that bad habit, or I need to do something different. Enough's enough. This is around goals. Also, look at your goals. Do your goals feel blocked in some way? If there's a repeating pattern, if you keep asking the same questions over and over again, you need to look for the same answer that is repeating back. If you've asked angels, they don't change that so much. But if you're getting chaotic, different messages, that's when you want to go, wait a minute, use some discernment, because chaos and confusion is not going to come from the divine. They're going to be, here you go. And it's not to tell you what to do. That's the thing you guys need to understand. Sometimes when people ask for an angel message, they're not going to tell you what to do. They're not going to say, oh yes, this and that. They're going to give you guidance to fulfill what you want to do, to help you get there, because energy can shift all the time. And it's not a magic pill here. It's literally guidance, because we have free will. So I know. And sometimes, you got to take these little colorful bells and whistles off to keep it real. And I'm all about that. I'm very realistic about spiritual things and intuition, because yes, they are very real, but sometimes they can look like, I don't know. Is that really real? Is that person for real? Well, I'm giving you what I have, and that's all I can do. I'm not going to give you any more than what I'm feeling. I'm not going to give you any more than what I feel is true. And that's up to you to take it or leave it. If it doesn't work for you, then you move on. Because this one will feel like you're letting go of something. You've got some closed doors. You've got to say goodbye to maybe something that might be difficult. It may not be difficult. Maybe you've been ready to do it for a while, but you just, you're afraid if you make the decision what the turnout will be. There's no guarantees about any of that. It's really learning to tap in. So yeah, I'm keeping it real today. There's also Mercury here. Mercury is hovering close as well. That's the communication planet. So you might find that you need to have some difficult conversations. If that's happening for you, this isn't for everybody. That's also there. So if there's something going on where you've got to stand up and speak out, you might feel that. All this energy, though, also has creativity in it. All this energy that I'm talking about sounds like, oh man, it seems kind of like a lot. It's a lot because it it's time to shift it. It's time for us to move to a different way here. We have to sometimes get the doors knocked down for us so we can see on the other side. Oh, that's what I was missing the whole time. Sometimes you got to kick the doors in. I mean, that just happens. So if that's the second of 3 moons, it will be in August. There's another one. And that by then, if you don't know now, you might know by the August one what's going on for you. Now, that's a little bit about that supermoon getting us ready for all this Chiron energy. Now, Chiron is not actually a planet. It's an asteroid. And it's going retrograde on July 19. Okay, that is also with Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto. That's a lot of retrogrades because there's a lot of reflection going on. Neptune, that's the illusions, and it's very spiritual. Pluto, out with the old, in with the new. And then you have Saturn, a stern teacher. You have Capricorn, take responsibility. You see what I mean? It's like, whoa, I feel like I'm in a spiritual boot camp a little bit. It does feel like that because sometimes we just need to get it cleaned up and get on track here. And that's the way I'm looking at it. I feel like, wow, the universe has been gently bringing all this in. And now here we are in this July energy. And it's like, okay, pivotal time. Let's shift it. Let's get going for the next half of the year. This Chiron, like I said, will be in retrograde until December 23rd of this year. So we got a few months of Chiron in retrograde. Now, what's Chiron about? That's considered the wounded healer. That will take you into the deeper wounds. That takes you into the things that may be ancestral, that maybe they are just there. They've been there for a very long time, if you feel like you're pulling up things like that. But it's also going to teach you, and this is the big part of this, Chiron is actually considered in astrology a centaur. And the myth, let me give you a little bit about the myth of this, just to give you the symbolic reasoning of it. It's not technically a planet, it's an asteroid considered to be a centaur. So it orbits between Saturn and Uranus, okay? So even though it's not a planet, it's a significant energy to work with in astrology. This is from that astrology perspective. So as the myth goes, Chiron was abandoned at birth. Okay, this is the little bit of the backstory here, and left to fend for itself. So that, I mean, abandoned at birth, right? So even though this wound of abandonment and difficult upbringing, this was able to rise up and turn the wounds into portals of healing. So the goal here is we're looking at these pain points here that we may have in our life, these wounds, this traumatic, whatever we're going through. What can we do with that energy? Just keep hurting in it, or find a way to heal through it? And that's why I chose the Rumi poet that said, your wound is where the light enters you, because it opens us up. It kind of cracks us open, you know, in a metaphor that just brings this light in. And sometimes we learn our greatest lessons through the toughest things. This is addressing how to do that. And if we have to shift, we have to look at this. We can stay in a place of it's hurting, it's hurting, it's hurting, or we can shift to a place of that was the worst thing I've ever been through, but you know what? And it hurt, and I feel grief, I feel pain, but enough's enough. Okay, what choices did I make to end up in that, and what can I do different? How can I make this better? What lessons can I learn from going through that? That's what Chiron's about. And we have it for the next 6 months. 6 months, I know. So Chiron paves the way as a powerful healer, teacher, philosopher, psychic, you know, and that's why Chiron is referred to as a wounded healer, because it knows it's hurt, it's felt it. A lot of healers can relate to what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, sometimes we feel like we're going through all of it so we can know how to help someone else in it. And it's not a martyrism. It's more, how can we take these same lessons that Chiron is presenting here and take this opportunity to use the ability. Do we have the ability? Yes, we do. To take wounds and pain and turn them into a source of power? Absolutely. Have you ever thought of it that way? Instead of, woe is me, I went through this. How can we look at it and go, I need to just find a way that's going to make me stronger? Because I really believe it. I don't think we're tested with beyond what we can do. It's just we do have to take the responsibility, and we do have to make the choices to rise up and be better through it. I've done plenty of it myself. I'm still doing it, and I will probably always learn and grow until I leave Earth. I mean, I think this entire journey is a constant learning and spiritual growth journey. It has been for me, that's for sure. And it won't stop. I know that. Things are going to happen. It's like, how do you go through them? So you'll know as you've grown, because if you have something similar that happens to you now that maybe happened 20, 30 years ago and you react differently, or it doesn't affect you like it used to, you've grown through that. That's an example. And then there's still these deep ones that might be quite uncomfortable. That's where Chiron will take you in and help you with that. So the position of Chiron between Saturn and Uranus, that's where a significant understanding of energy comes to light. Just wow, okay, we're going into there. Saturn being very grounded, rooted energy, you have a grounding there. You have Uranus, that's a higher vibration planet. It's considered to be higher vibration. And energy of Uranus also brings about awakenings. Even the rise of the Kundalini energy, which is that spiritual awakening, life force energy that comes up through the chakras. And then you have Chiron acting as a bridge between those two. It's interesting. And then that's also referred to as a rainbow bridge, actually. I don't know if you knew that. The rainbow bridge is considered a significant link between one state of consciousness and the next. So you might hear that phrase here and there. So here's a state of consciousness. It's a bridge to another state of consciousness. So that's more amplified in Egyptian astrology, by the way. So as you're going through all this and you have this energy that takes you deep, this energy is not about taking an approach of making everything perfect. Yeah, that's not what this is about at all. This is about acknowledgement and acceptance of a wound. Like, wow, it's going to bring me some wisdom. I accept that's it. I'm going to feel that one. Some of them, and I'm going to keep this real for a minute because I'm not about blowing smoke here. Some wounds you will always feel. You can learn to live with them and they make you stronger and you rise up. Some, it's not like you'll never feel that if you think about it one day, or you're remembering or reminiscing, or you come across a photo or something and you feel something. It helps you shift and use it more in a positive, productive way though. And so to think, oh, I'm never going to feel anything. And a lot of times there's going to be ones that don't affect you like that anymore. But we're not trying to detach and completely disconnect our emotions. They are very connected to intuition, that spiritual side of us, those feelings that we have, the different psychic gifts. You'll feel them, you'll see them, you'll hear them, an empath. Your gift is your superpower, by the way. You may not feel that, but that's how you're feeling an awareness of the world around you, not closing it off. We're not trying to close it off. We're not trying to be perfect. We want to heal and feel like we've grown. Now, Chiron is not about feeling better. It's about learning wisdom, knowledge, and growth, and strength, and power. and taking that information and really finding your full potential. That right there, that's a lot. That's big. That's major. So it's not like you'll never feel anything. You don't want to completely disconnect it. You don't want it to tear you down and be a roadblock, though. Chiron helps you go there and go, well, let's look for the knowledge, the wisdom. Let's find out our full potential. Let's see where your power is. But you're going to go through it. It's kind of like going head to head with those things that are deep and really pulling that amazing strength and wisdom and power that you can out of it. So this is like a transcendence type of healing work. It's deep. The wounded healer is deep. A lot of shamans are considered to be wounded healers sometimes. Not all, but I think sometimes they are, because they can feel all those things. You know, different people are going to be different here. It's not like everything's going to be the same for everyone. This Chiron is actually in the sign of Aries, so it'll be headstrong, it'll be direct, it'll be wanting to move through it, like let's go, but that'll actually help you because you have strength and confidence and gives you the courage to rise up in it and go there face to face with it and actually find your potential, to find that strength and wisdom you're looking for, to feel like, yeah, that happened to me, but it doesn't define me. I'm better because of going through the things I've gone through. And I'm stronger. I'm learning and growing as you go. I'm not perfect. Nobody's going to be perfect. Don't try to get perfection here. And don't think, oh, okay, well, my project seems to be going kind of strange here. I'm not quite sure what decision to make next. Maybe you won't know that yet. Maybe not. Maybe there's still some roadblocks. I don't know. I'm not even looking at all of that right now. I'm trying to make sure you guys are aware. This is a real deal energy that's going to be felt. I mean, I've seen it like crazy out there, and people don't even know that's what I'm noticing. That's just, whoa, it's out there. Wounds, they hurt, you know? Let's keep it real. Wounds and events and trauma, that hurts. And sometimes they're pretty deep. So what this does is it helps you go there to find a way to extract that strength, that energy, and that potential, and it make you stronger, not keep you down. A wound doesn't have to keep you down. It can actually be a transformative tool that can bring you to why you came here to begin with. Yeah, it's pretty big stuff, right? So a couple of questions, and then I want to go over and say hi to everybody in the chat. A couple of questions that you could ask yourself while we're going through Chiron energy is, what feels the most painful to you right now? And journal that, or contemplate it, or meditate on it, something. And then write down some things that this difficult pain has taught you. What have you learned from it? Have you learned anything? These are good questions to ask during this type of energy. What painful wound from your past? Think of one. How did it inspire you, or has it? How can you be inspired to move forward? I know, see? It's like, be inspired by a painful wound. That's exactly what Chiron's trying to teach you. So first you want to look at what feels the most difficult right now, and what are 10 things that it's taught you. Like, what are you feeling now? Then you're looking back in history to see if there's something else, and did it inspire you, change you? If not, why not, and how could it? That's how you're going to heal through that. That's how you're going to bring that up to be a positive, useful tool. A lot of wisdom comes from going through stuff, I'm telling you, but you don't want to just leave it behind. You want to go back to grab that. You want to grab that wisdom, knowledge, power, that potential, not the parts that keep you there and stuck. You're trying to get rid of a roadblock that could be holding up what you're trying to do. That's what you're doing. So if And here's another one you could ask. If your wound could talk to you, what would it say to you? What would it say? Hardships, you're stronger today because of, and you always want to do that. I'm stronger today because of. You're going to look back and it's going to be things that you went through that you have healed a little bit. Maybe there's a little bit more you can take from that. Yeah, this is deep stuff, but that's what we do here on the show. We want to learn, we want to grow, and I'm sharing some really important stuff here I believe is important to really help you. Astrology has a lot of metaphors. It has a lot of backstories like centaurs and myths, but there's such great lessons. There's such great soul lessons and soul journey perspectives there that you can take and really improve areas of your life. So you have this super moon energy that's saying, take responsibility. You have Chiron going, all right, let's look at those wounds and see what we can learn. What can we gain? How can we find our potential through it? And we're not trying to be perfect, remember? We're trying to actually grow. So that is a lot of energy I just gave you, a lot of information. So, bookmark it and re-listen to sections if you need to. But it's a big deal. So I want to say hello because it's been a couple of weeks since we've been back here live. So I want to say hello to everyone. Got Maddie. Hi, Maddie. Maddie's saying, yep, the energy's been intense. It has. I don't know, in the last week, has there been a lot of unexpected surprises and you've had to go, okay, let me adjust to that. That's totally not what I had planned for my day, but we're going to go with that. Yeah, we've had a few here too. Let's see. Journey to Becoming Me. Very, very emotional last couple of days. Lots of past events, people revisiting my brain. There you go. Tapping right in. And here's the thing, when it happens, it's like, okay, it's like buckle up and get ready for the ride, because it's going to teach you some things, especially if they come in super strong, because we have this opportunity to learn great depths of empowerment and things about ourselves and our potential from this uncomfortable stuff. If it's going to come up, which more than likely will, then why not get what we can out of it and leave the rest behind? That is the healing of Chiron right there. Okay, so I'm trying to reiterate that because it is like, what? I know. So Maddie, same here. So many emotions, people, past events coming up, trying to understand the lessons and why they're coming up so I can use it. But it's really been draining. I can concur with that. And for some reason, the 2 weeks I just took, absolutely 2 weeks I truly needed. But it had a lot going on in it. We had a lot of visits and people we hadn't seen in a long time, and it was great. But for the last couple of days, I don't feel like I could get enough sleep. I've noticed that. Anybody else feeling like that? Just random crazy dreams or remembering something. Even, just stuff. Sometimes you'll remember that song you haven't heard in 30 years and you're like, why am I thinking about that song? That song's probably taking you to something and all the other memories that come with it. So think about that. Also learning to forgive myself. This is Maddie. Wait a minute. I skipped one. Sorry. Journey to Becoming Me. Feel like I am starting to understand that the decisions family members make that affect them or others, I am not responsible for cleaning up other messes anymore. Good for you. Absolutely. We're responsible for us. Absolutely good point. Good point. So we're responsible for the decisions we make. We may not like or care or agree with decisions that other people make, including family members or friends or just whatever. We may not agree, but it wasn't our choice, was it? We're responsible for us, not them. So that empath part, that's a good practice for an empath, because we will feel and be aware of all of that, but they're not all the energy that we're supposed to process. One of the biggest lessons an empath can learn is deciphering. That's mine, no, that's not. And we let that pass through. We'll feel it, but it passes through. if I hadn't learned that, being an intuitive and doing readings and things like that, oh my goodness, just keeping all of that stuff, I feel, and practicing how to turn it off and on so you can take a break. Because sometimes you just have to take a break from all that deep spiritual stuff too. Yeah, I know, I'm all about it, but sometimes, hey, okay, rest, process what you were gaining there, and then go back in. It's kind of, you know, taking proper breaks so you feel refreshed and your energy is regained. It's important. Let's see, Maddie, learning to forgive herself. Good, good. And fully accept myself instead of beating myself up. Fantastic. That's exactly perfect. It's so good to see that. I'm feeling good for you guys. Absolutely. And not the, you know, just not being hard on yourself because you might make a choice or you might have a plan or an idea. It doesn't work out, or you're going, okay, I really still want to do this, but this approach ain't going to work. No, don't be hard on yourself, right? And that perfection thing will come up for a lot of us. I mean, I've had to work with that one because it's like, of course, I'm just the type of person that likes to do everything as well as I can, but sometimes you can get lost in that, and then you can feel like criticism can come in and affect you. No, you don't want that. You want to know that you can stand on your own decisions. You're responsible for your decisions and your choices, right? And we have to cut ourselves some slack. If you were going to forgive and be compassionate with someone else, we have to give that same energy to ourselves. So they're making some really good points. So I'm kind of elaborating on the point, not telling you that. You already know that. You're figuring it out. But I think it's fantastic. Let's see what else. Journey to becoming me. In fact, I was starting to feel extremely overwhelmed with emotions 2 nights ago. Feel like I couldn't hold myself up. And the second I recognized that thought, I felt huge Archangel Michael. Beautiful. He swooped in behind me, and his huge arm wingspan, soft and thick and strong arms under my armpits, holding me up while hugging me. Ah, that's awesome. I have memories of that too when I was really in a tough spot. And actually that reminds me, which I want to talk about with the angels, when you're going through this kind of energy, just what she was talking about, she was feeling it. And when I feel things like that, or my mind might go toward, you know, like sometimes you'll feel the negative stuff come up. Everybody does. So I'm not going to pretend like I don't. You have to like acknowledge them and go, okay. I'll feel them sometimes. And I go, no. You know, I think it happened to me a few days ago. I'm like, no, that's not the way we're going to do this anymore. I say that and I ask the angels, help me out with that. I need to get back on my positive perspective because I'm not doing that no more. That's the old way. It was like this old... It was like an old reaction to something that popped up that hadn't been there in forever. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. That's old stuff. That's going. And I kind of just look at it that way and I go, nope, we're not doing that anymore, and we move on. So if you find that you're in a spot like that with these emotions, or you feel heavy one day, some days you may feel heavier. Some days you won't be sleeping very well, and the next day you can't wake up because you're so tired. You might go back and forth with that a little bit. Ask your guardian angel, Michael, of course, if it's feeling very toxic for you to feel that way. But Michael and your guardian angel, you are never alone in any of this. Just ask them. Ask them. Just say, hey, you know, I'm feeling this weight, but I want to learn what I can from it. Literally ask that. And then you might be surprised at the cool stuff that will come up. Like if you have this day where it's heavy, or you're feeling these things, and then you ask Michael and your guardian angel, what can I learn from this? Where's my wisdom? Why did this pop up? It's uncomfortable, it hurts, but I don't want to keep hurting from it. You'll still feel it. Not that it'll be gone if it's a big one. But what can I learn from it? Where's my empowerment from? Where's my potential from? Ask. And then say, I would love to see that like pop in so I can find it. It's not like they're just going to go, oh, it's this, 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 and this. They'll give you some clues and hints. it's like a scavenger hunt, and then you go and you do your homework and you do your searching, and you turn this journey into this quest to find these amazing things about yourself that you want to go and take. It's like your prizes, your rewards, your empowerment, your wisdom. That sounds like fun. I think I'm going to do that next time. That just totally popped in with Michael. He was like, yeah, you gotta like look at it, especially if it's got you down. It's almost like, all right, let's get up and do something fun. You want to find this? Let's find it this way. And I'm going, that's cool. So there you go with that. It was breathtaking. Wait a minute, here on. Hugging me, breathtaking. That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. I love seeing that for you. I've definitely felt the presence of my angels this week, bringing me comfort as well. See, I love seeing that you guys have been working with them and you're feeling them. You don't need anybody to actually tell you they're there. I love that. See, that's awesome. Maddie, I've been feeling so much pressure to spend more time on what I'm trying to do, but I've been feeling like some of this healing is teaching me something I'm going to incorporate, trying to trust that. Yep, if it sounds like you're getting that intuitive nudge from deep, especially if you felt those angels very strong. You're also forgiving, because there's going to be a gift in that. There's going to be something that will help you. And believe it or not, when you're trying to do big projects or something that could have some stress, anything that's big and major and very important to you, it still can have some stress to it. It could be a wedding you're planning and have stress, right? So you can look and see what's going to bring you, because it might be teaching you and opening your eyes to something that will help you through different things that happen as you're processing and going through a project. The way we handle the day-to-day in and outs of administrative tasks or just life, like, oh, how do we handle something unexpected like that when it happens? Oh, didn't expect that to happen. Okay, we got to stop everything and do that. We've had like 3 of those this week here. And it's just like, okay, well, that wasn't what we planned today, but let's fix it. We've had all these unexpected things. But I get that. I think that's wonderful. You guys are doing fantastic. Maddie, I've barely slept this week. Very weird dreams. Feeling very tired today. Try to have a little notebook and jot those weird dreams, even if it's a sentence, just to help you remember, oh, what was that? I actually had, and you know, guys, I work with the angel numbers and different signs and nature that angels give me, because during this week I was saying, all right, what's going on with this? Because there was some real unusual things going on. And I kept getting in a row this sequence of numbers. So it was so specific, I had to just start writing them all down. And then I noticed that, oh my God, they're completely, I felt like I was doing a complete decipher code, but there was like 6 or 7 numbers that then I had to put that combination together, and that was answering what I was asking for. Has anybody ever tried that? I mean, sometimes it's like, oh, I keep seeing 1111, or I keep seeing 1212, or I keep seeing all these different numbers. But this was different. I see numbers all the time in specific. This was different. This was very specific, in a row, a certain, and they told me, stop and write all these down. I go, okay, I'll just do it. I don't question it. I used to, when I was younger, like, why are they asking me that? I was one of those why babies. Why this? Why that? No, I've learned to just go, all right, and then I put it down, and as I was doing it, they kept flowing in. Very different. It was very different from what I'm used to them doing. And I went, oh, you guys are going to show me something different. And it was freaking amazing. It was a personal message, so I won't go into it, but it was so unique and so different that I felt like I was taking shorthand from this full message coming through. It was amazing. So they've shown me different things that I've never thought to do or try, but this was more real specific, and you might want to see what you can do with that. I don't know. I mean, it happened over a few days. They were coming in, and then it faded out. But once I got the message, I didn't need to keep getting the message. You know, sometimes that repeating thing is a reminder, a reminder, a reminder, a reminder. And once you do actually get the message and process, accept, and do it, then you might see that changes, or you don't see it anymore. Why do you need to keep getting a reminder if you've done the reminder? You know, everybody's got those reminders and those apps and everything on their phones. Well, maybe you don't need it anymore. Maybe it's time for you to get a different message. Have you ever thought of it that way? I mean, angels are phenomenal. They are there for us. They will be there supporting you when everything's wonderful, but you know they're going to pick you up and give you a hug. I've had that awesome Michael hug too. It's amazing. And they're gonna be there. They're just gonna let you know it's gonna be okay. You're going through some shifts and changes. And when you know, honestly, think about it. Most of us, we listen more, or we're asking more when we got something challenging us. So our lessons are in there, you know, we're learning, we're growing. Those are the times where awakenings can really take hold and move quickly. You can have an awakening and then go 10, 15 years and, you know, it's like, and then all of a sudden it feels like oh my gosh, I thought I was awake. Now you feel like, oh, I'm in this place where I thought I knew it, and now I don't. That's when you're growing. That's when you're growing. When you start going, wait, I didn't know that or that but when you're not growing if you already know it all. And this whole journey, if this whole journey on earth is growing, we're not going to stop learning. We're not going to stop growing. There'll be spurts. There'll be growth spurts. Then it'll level out so you can process that. Then these lessons will come in, or these little, I guess you could call it a test, to see how you've grown. You'll have something pop up into your life or experience something that it's like, all right, well, let's see how you react or respond to this. Let's see what you do now versus what you would have done before. And that's how you can measure your growth. Or, oh, okay, I did really well on this part, but I could do better on that part. And if you were to approach life that way, with that perspective, when things get bumpy, it really takes to me, it helps ease up the focusing on all the pain and the hurt and feeling stuck. And it gives me something productive to do to make things better and improve who I am in soul growth. That's what works for me. I don't know if that works for everybody. Everybody's got a different mindset, a perspective, a personality. We're all not the same exact. I'm just sharing what's worked for me. So let's see if we've got any here. Maddie, I felt like things are moving so slowly and progress in the physical is not really happening. It has been hard to accept and trust in the process. I've been asking angels for help with that. Good. Just hang in there and jot down those crazy dreams, because you are getting answers every day. Jot them down. Do those meditations, 5 minutes here and there. Pay attention to all the little significant things. Believe it or not, in some of the things that might feel a little like, ooh, you might find that you don't necessarily want to make that choice, but there's something you might learn by exploring it. That's what's popping up. I'm feeling that real strong all of a sudden. That's interesting. So say you get this idea and you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. That just sounds a little risky or something. Well, if you explored it and researched it, that's not making the decision. I'm getting the impression that it's a clue to just sort of take you on this path to explore something. Not necessarily make that decision, but there's something in the learning about it that will go, oh, that's it. That's what I needed. I know. Actually, that's interesting. Popped up. Just throwing it out there. Let's see here. What would your wounds say to you? Yeah. I feel that growing through some of this crap isn't fun. No, it's not. But those things, those questions that we put out there earlier, asking yourself these pinpoint questions. So just to refresh really quick, some of the best ways to work with Chiron energy, if you just tuned in, and this is all in the recording too, you want to look at what is painful now. What's causing you pain now? Put it down. Don't worry about what it sounds like. This is just for you. Okay, answer that question. Then try to list as many things that it's taught you. If you can get 10, that's pretty good. You might not get any at first, but that's what you're looking for. What can it teach me? It's to prompt you to explore it for a teaching purpose. And then look at something painful from the past. I know they're coming up anyway. You may as well, right? I mean, they're popping up because of Pluto and Neptune and all these. I know it's popping up because out with the old, in with the new. So when that energy is something painful from the past, what choice did we make in that time that it happened? How did that play out? What could we learn from it? What could we do better now? You're looking at it. How did it inspire you to be different in who you are today? Look for that. You may not know it's there. You may not feel it yet, but that's the goal. Something that was not so good before, how did it inspire you to be who you are today? That's growth, that's healing, that's a catalyst for change, that's a soul growth thing. How can it inspire you moving forward? How can it change? So, and if it could talk to you, what would it say? If a painful time, if a pain right now, or a pain in the past, if it could talk to you, what would it say? So, when you think about them, use an affirmation that you are grateful, that you are stronger today because of what you've had in your past, because it's already happened. It's not like you're asking for all this bad stuff to happen. We're not doing that. Nobody wants that. But life happens. When it happens, how did it make you stronger? If you put your focus into those things, you're going to find how Chiron can help you heal through these deeper ones. It's the healing we're looking for. It's the growth, the strength, the wisdom. It's not that you'll never have it perfect. It's not perfection. It's not that you won't ever feel it at times, because sometimes you might think of the same time and it's fine, and then other times you'll feel it more. And it's because it's taking you to a deeper level of learning and growth. And then it goes away, and then it pops up, later. But they're not to torture you. We want to learn from them. We want to grow. And you can. This is taking responsibility to stop berating yourself, to forgive yourself, to give yourself that self-love balance, just that you would give to anybody else. Make sure you've got the balance. Remember, the sea goat with Capricorn with the supermoon, you can go pretty high, but you've got to stay balanced doing it. So that right there is a lot of transitional time going on right now. But it's preparing us. It's preparing us for a whole new vibrational everything going on. And remember, you can live 3D or 5D now. It's awareness. It's the ego gets out of the way. It's being open enough to flex and shift. It's very different. And you can tell where you are a lot of times. If you're going through something, you look at how you're reacting. In 3D, it might be a lot more painful. In 5D, the 5D perspective is actually going with this lesson. It's the 5D perspective would be, okay, I used to react that way and it hurt. Now I'm going to look at what it can teach me, but I'm not going to let it do that to me. I'm going to take what I can from that and be better and stronger and wiser and smarter and have more potential. That's a 5D mindset. That 40, people ask a lot of times, where's 40? That's the transitional one. It's like the in-between. And so we all go back and forth between all the dimensions. You go back and forth because they coexist at the same time. It's a reality you're choosing to be in. It's a reality and perspective on life. It's kind of like the glass half full, glass half empty. You can look at everything that's wrong, or you can look at everything you can learn and grow and the positives and the optimism. That's different vibrational frequencies and dimensional realities, really. If you want to explain it because it's here, it's around. And sometimes it gets explained to where it sounds like a sci-fi. I guess to a lot of people, some of this is. That's okay. You're taking what works for you and leave the rest behind. Because you're working on your potential. You're responsible for that. So, guys, this was an amazing, lot of depth. It was great to see you guys there in the chat, and you were supporting one another. I love that. I love that about the people that show up for this show. I appreciate every one of you. You're fantastic. And I've seen the ones that do show up pretty regular. I've seen how you've grown over time, and that just brings a joy to me that is a reward. Like just to see that is a blessing. You don't always see it. You can put things out there and you can help people, but you don't always see that they're growing and that they're gaining, and that's a beautiful thing to see. It means a lot. Last thing on here is Journey to Becoming Me. It feels like old paradigm is almost transitioned into new one, like the roller coaster has a new extension that has been added, and we are going to break through the barricade that has been blocked. Very good. Yes. Yes. In some teachings and writings, a full transition is supposed to be by 2032 for 5D and like a whole new everything here on Earth, different way. And so we're at 2022. It started a bit back. I mean, there was a big shift at 2012, but before that, there was even some things in 1978. There was some things, after that. So it's been gradual, but bumping up. So I feel like we're on the home stretch of things. It feels like that to me. I see so much shifting around me. I feel different. I feel like all those things that were so important that had to be, just do they matter or not? It's something to ask yourself. So just take these things, and I hope that you will work with your angels on a daily basis, because the angels definitely are there for you for all the ups and downs. And they are definitely supportive when you have that intention to grow and find your greatest strength and potential through any of life's challenges. Even when things are going good, yes, we want to check in with that too. And that state of gratitude for how much you have grown up to this point is important to remember and acknowledge and appreciate about yourself. So guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed the show, and we will see you next time on the Jenn Royster Show. Namaste.
You've been listening to the Jenn Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life. Dr. Jenn Royster is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Imagine having the ability to use your innate positive energy to dissolve the stuckness in your life, whether it's emotional, physical, or spiritual, through this incredible dynamic show. If you've missed any part of this show or any other show, visit www.jennroyster.com.